Chapter 2956. Wu Shui sneered and looked at Lu Ming. Kid, consider yourself lucky. You're also here to participate in the great battle of Magic City, right? Very well. I hope you don't meet me in the great battle of Magic City. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Junior sister, let's go. After saying that, Wu Shui and the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm left. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lucky? Who's the lucky one here? Lu Ming turned around and left as well. Nothing much happened in the next few days. Instead, the number of foreign sky prides in Magic City increased. Many of these foreign sky prides had grudges with each other in the past, so it was inevitable that they would clash when they met. Therefore, during this period, the Magic City guards stepped up their patrols. Meanwhile, Lu Ming still did not have any clues about Mid-Autumn Moon, Wu Zifeng, and Yuling Long. He was in a bad mood. Finally, it was time for the great battle of Magic City. On this day, outside the city governor's mansion of Magic City, there was a huge crowd in a huge open space. Many people in Magic City had come to watch. The open space was surrounded by armored Magic City guards. The city governor has arrived. A shout was heard, and then a group of people flew out. The leader was a burly man in a black magic robe. This person had an extraordinary aura, and there was a faint kingly aura around him. At first glance, one could tell that he was a divine king. This person was the city governor of Magic City, the Dark Knight Demon King. Next to the Dark Knight Demon King was a young woman. This woman looked to be in her 20s. She had a great figure, and her long, slender legs were white and smooth. They were alluring. Her curves were perfect, and her breasts looked like they were about to burst. Her face was also beautiful. What a beautiful woman! What a seductive woman! Is this woman the Dark Knight Demon King's daughter? Many men's eyes burned when they saw this woman, and certain parts of their bodies reacted. I heard that in this great battle of Magic City, as long as you defeat the Dark Knight Demon King's daughter and get first place, you can date her and even have a chance to become the Dark Knight Demon King's son-in-law. How can I miss such a beauty? First place is mine. First place is mine. In the crowd, many of the geniuses from other places had fiery eyes. They rubbed their fists and palms together, wanting to take first place. Everyone, quiet down. The Dark Knight Demon King stood in the air. With a wave of his hand, everyone quieted down. I am Dark Knight Sky. Dark Knight Demon King introduced himself. Dark Knight Sky was his name. This is my woman, Dark Knight Rose. The Dark Knight Demon King pointed at the enchanting woman beside him and introduced. Everyone nodded. This alluring woman was indeed the daughter of the Night Devil King. I believe that everyone has already heard about the rules of the Great Battle of Shanghai. However, I would like to re-announce them now. This battle will be divided into 32 fighting stages. At this point, the Night Devil King waved his hand and 32 balls of light flew out from his sleeves. After flying out, they expanded rapidly and turned into 32 huge battle stages, floating in the air. 32 battle stages. You can enter any one of them. Once you get on the battle stage, you can kill each other. The last one to remain on the battle stage will be the one to successfully advance. There will be a total of 32 geniuses who will advance. The Night Demon King announced. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. This rule was simple, but it was also extremely cruel. There were 32 battle stages, and there would definitely be a lot of people fighting for each stage. However, only one person would be able to win at the end of each battle stage. The 32 people who advance will fight in pairs. Those who enter the top 10 will be rewarded with 500 grams of demonic night spring. At the same time, they can also join the Demon Capital Mountain and immediately become a demon overlord, second only to me. The first place will be rewarded with 5 grams of demonic night spring and have a chance to date my daughter. The Demon of the Night briefly explained the rules. Many people's eyes were burning. For many geniuses from other places, becoming a demon overlord of the Demon Capital Mountain wasn't attractive at all. To them, the demonic night spring was attractive. Of course, a beauty like Dark Knight Rose was naturally attractive as well. All right, now, let the battle begin, the Night Demon King announced. Whoosh, whoosh. As soon as his voice fell, many people rushed out and rushed towards the 32 battle stages. There were people on each battle stage. Get out. This battle stage is mine. You're the one who should get out. Kill. Instantly, every battle stage erupted into an intense battle. Many people were attacking each other. Puff. Blood spurted out and screams were heard. Immediately, some people were killed and fell on the battle stage. The battle was extremely tragic. However, most of the people who attacked at the beginning were the local geniuses of the demon capital mountain. Many outsiders had yet to attack. After a while, an outsider prodigy finally made his move. Get out of my way. A burly man with a battle saber slashed out, and a shocking saber light flashed across the void. 7 or 8 youths were slashed by the saber light and died immediately. What a powerful cultivation! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. The burly young man's cultivation had reached the 8th heaven god realm, and he was also a divine son. The burly young man charged onto the battle stage, and no one was his match. More than a dozen people died at his hands. The others' faces changed as they knew that they were too weak. They could only leave the battle stage and fight their way to the other battle stages. Since the burly young man was so powerful, the other geniuses naturally wouldn't compete with him. They all flew to the other battle stages. Whoosh, whoosh. More and more geniuses joined the battle, and the battles on each battle stage were extremely tragic. Boom. On another battle stage, Wu Shue's body was covered in a bloody mist. Those who were touched by the bloody mist screamed and fell on the battle stage without any signs of life. Many people were frightened and ran away from Wu Shui. Ha ha ha, what a bunch of trash. I'll take this battle stage and the Dark Knight rose. Wu Shui laughed. He didn't hide his voice, and it spread across the entire area. Many of the local youths of the demon capital mountain looked pale, but there was nothing they could do. Whoosh, whoosh. On another battle stage, a black-robed young man with a long spear in his hand was also extremely powerful. He was invincible and occupied a battle stage to himself. Gradually, some terrifying people appeared on each battle stage. What terrifying strength! Most of these geniuses aren't from the Chu Tian star field. That's right. Most of them are from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. What's going on? Why are there so many powerful geniuses from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion? A few elders from the demon capital mountain were discussing in the crowd, and they were surprised. They thought that this time, it would attract some geniuses from the Chu Tian star field. They didn't expect that even the geniuses from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion would come. Chapter 29:57. Perhaps Mrs. Reputation has spread to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion and attracted so many geniuses. The old men discussed and felt that it was highly possible. Dark Knight Rose was extremely beautiful and had shown great talent over the years. Her cultivation had skyrocketed, and her reputation had spread far and wide. Lu Ming listened from the side and was not in a hurry to make a move. Rose, you should make a move too. The Dark Knight Demon King said to Dark Knight Rose. All right. Dark Knight Rose nodded and took a step forward towards one of the fighting stages. Miss Rose, you want to make a move too? I won't go easy on you. Miss Rose, you should go down by yourself. I can't bear to attack a beauty like you. A few young men teased. However, they could not laugh in the next moment as they were left on the fighting stages forever. Dark Knight Rose had made a move. She stretched out her slender fingers and pointed them out continuously. Terrifying finger forces killed those young men who were teasing her. The others gasped and retreated. Dark Knight Rose's terrifying strength shocked many people. Wu Shui, as well as the bulky youth holding a warblade, and the others all revealed surprised expressions. They didn't expect the Dark Knight Rose's strength to be so shocking. It's about time to make a move. Lu Ming stepped forward and walked towards one of the fighting stages. There were no powerful experts on this fighting stage. Dong! Lu Ming landed on the fighting stage, and someone immediately stared at him. A level 3 heavenly god dares to come up here? Die! A skinny young man shouted and slashed at Lu Ming with his sword. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand silently. Void piercing. With a thought, a spear radiance shot out. Puff. The skinny young man's forehead was pierced and he died on the spot. However, the death of one person did not cause fear in the others. Instead, a few young men charged towards Lu Ming. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming shook his long spear, and immediately, several spear lights burst forth. Then, these youths would forever remain on the fighting stage. As a result, it alerted the other youths who were fighting on the battle stage. This brat is difficult to deal with. Let's kill him together. All right, let's kill him together. In an instant, the other youths on the fighting ring, at least a dozen of them, charged towards Lu Ming. You're courting death. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. His divine power surged wildly as he brandished his spear. The spear light was as huge as a mountain range, sweeping out in all directions. As the spear light swept through, cries of agony filled the air. In an instant, more than a dozen youths were killed. On the fighting ring, the other cultivators' expressions changed drastically, revealing looks of fear. They hurriedly retreated, not daring to get close to Lu Ming. Get out of the fighting ring, Lu Ming bellowed, his aura surging. However, while some of the youths rushed down the battle stage, some of them stood at the edge of the battle stage, unwilling to give up. At this moment, many battle platforms were occupied by terrifying geniuses. If they went down, the other battle platforms wouldn't be theirs. If you don't scram, die, Lu Ming shouted coldly. He took a step forward, causing the battle platform to rumble. Lu Ming rushed out, his spear trembling as the spear light pierced through the air. A few more cries of agony sounded as several youths were killed. Seeing this scene, the remaining youths didn't dare to stay any longer and hurriedly rushed down the battle platform. In an instant, only Lu Ming was left on the battle platform. At this moment, more than half of the 32 battle platforms had finished their battles. On each battle platform, there was a powerful genius. Brat, you have some strength. Haha, that's good. At this moment, Wu Shui looked at Lu Ming and laughed. His gaze was ferocious. Now that Lu Ming had advanced, he would have a chance to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He couldn't be bothered with Wu Shui and directly ignored him. Being ignored by Lu Ming, Wu Shui's face turned gloomy. Killing intent filled the air. Battles were still going on the other battle platforms, but not long after, the outcome was decided. The 32 battle platforms were all occupied by people. There are so many foreign geniuses. Demon Capital Mountain only occupied 2 of the 32 seats. That's right. At least half of them aren't from Chu Tian Starfield. I've never heard of them before. They must be from the 9 Extinction, Heavenly King Palace. Many people in Demon Capital Mountain were discussing. The Dark Knight Demon King was also deep in thought. No one knew what he was thinking. All right, now that the top 32 have been decided, we will now proceed to the one-on-one battles. We will draw lots to decide the battles. The Dark Knight Demon King's voice sounded. Then, he waved his hand and the 32 battle platforms in the air flew up to the sides. Then, another battle platform flew out of the Dark Knight Demon King's sleeve. This battle platform was bigger than all the previous ones. It floated in the air and became the main battle platform for the upcoming battles. Then, it was time to draw lots. Each of the fighting platforms that Lu Ming and the rest occupied had a serial number. They were numbered from 1 to 32. For example, Lu Ming's battle platform was numbered 16. The Dark Knight Demon King drew lots, and the 2 numbers he drew would be the ones to fight. Number 16, number 28. The Dark Knight Demon King announced after drawing lots. I'll be the first one. Lu Ming smiled and flew to the main battle platform. However, he was stunned when he flew to the main battle platform. His opponent was the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm. Humph, I admit defeat. The woman could only admit that she was unlucky when she saw Lu Ming. She had already fought with Lu Ming and knew that she was no match for Lu Ming. She might as well admit defeat. She admitted defeat. Some people were surprised when the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm admitted defeat. After all, the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm was a 6th-level celestial god realm divine son. Lu Ming was only a 3rd-level celestial god. The woman with the snake wrapped around her arm surrendered without a fight. It seems that this kid can't be underestimated. Maybe he has some terrifying means. The Sky Prides on the other battle platforms thought to themselves. They couldn't help but look at Lu Ming a few more times. The woman with the snake wrapped around her arm rushed down the battle platform and admitted defeat. The Dark Knight Demon King kept her battle platform. Lu Ming, on the other hand, returned to the 16th fighting ring. Then, the competition continued. For example, the burly young man with the saber and the black-robed young man with the long spear were very powerful. They defeated their opponents easily. In addition, Wu Shui and the Dark Knight Rose were also very powerful. They crushed their opponents. Of course, there were also some who were evenly matched. The battle was very intense. There were even some who fought for over 1,000 moves before the outcome was decided. After a few days, the first round ended and the top 16 were born. Then, the second round began. The second round was the same as the first round. It was also decided by drawing lots. Many people were nervous and expectant. As long as they passed the second round, they would be able to enter the top 10. If they entered the top 10, they would get a pound of demonic night spring. This was a great harvest. Number 16 versus number 11. The Dark Knight Demon King announced. Chapter 29:58. In the second round, it was Lu Ming's turn to fight again. In this round, Lu Ming's opponent was a young man in a blood-red robe. He was a peak level 6 celestial god realm god and possessed divine grade divine power. He was stronger than Jian Dao Wuji and Emojui from Qin Tian Starfield. Wild Blood Blade. The young man in a blood-red robe wouldn't admit defeat. However, he didn't dare to be careless when facing Lu Ming when he saw the woman with a snake around her arm admit defeat. He immediately used his killing move. Blade shadows filled the sky and shrouded Lu Ming, trying to kill Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming had quadrupled his combat strength. Boom! The fighting stage shook and spear radiance shot into the sky. The blood-red blade shadows in the sky were instantly shattered. The young man in a blood-red robe screamed and flew out of the fighting stage while vomiting blood. He was defeated in one move. What terrifying combat strength! Around them, many people sucked in cold breaths, especially those from Demon Capital Mountain. They had never seen such a powerful genius before, so they were naturally dumbfounded. Even Wu Shui and the others looked solemn. It was shocking that a level 3 celestial god realm god could display such combat strength. He's really powerful. On one of the fighting stages, Anya Rose licked her red lips. Her eyes were burning with a trace of greed. After Lu Ming won, he moved and returned to the number 16 fighting ring. Then, the competition continued. The burly young man with a battle blade was called Pei Lin. He was a level 8 celestial god realm god and defeated a level 7 celestial god realm god. The young man in a black robe who used a long spear was called Su Mu. He also defeated his opponent and won. Then, Wu Shui and Anya rose one after another. Soon, the top 8 were decided. However, there were still 2 spots left for the top 10. They had to choose from the 8 who had just lost. Thus, the 8 people that had been defeated went through another round of competition. In the end, 2 people were chosen, making a total of 10 people. I've said that if you enter the top 10, you'll get a pound of demonic night spring water. Now, I'll give you the demonic night spring water. After saying that, the Dark Knight Demon King waved his hand and a jade bottle appeared in front of him. The jade bottle was almost transparent, and one could see what was inside. Inside the jade bottle was a black liquid. Many people looked at the jade bottle with burning eyes. Inside was the demonic night spring, which could nurture and strengthen one's soul. It was priceless. Of course, even though it was hot, no one dared to make a move. The Dark Knight Demon King waved his hand, and 10 jade bottles flew out, respectively flying towards Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. Then, he quietly put it away. All right, the competition will continue. It's still a 2-on-1 battle, Dark Knight Demon King announced, and then began to draw lots. Number 1, number 6. The Night Demon King announced. This time, Lu Ming was no longer the first to appear. Number 1, Pei Lin. Number 6 was a 7th-level celestial god expert. The two of them fought fiercely, But in the end, Pei Lin's cultivation was higher and he won. Number 16. Number 2. The Night Demon King announced again. It was Lu Ming's turn now. Lu Ming flew to the main fighting ring. With a flicker, a young man in a black robe also jumped onto the fighting ring. It's him. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The young man in a black robe was the young man who used a long spear. His name was Su Mu. You and I both use long spears. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too weak. You're no match for me. Su Mu was very confident. He indeed had the right to be confident. His cultivation was at the peak of the 7th level of the celestial god realm, but his strength was exceptionally strong. Even geniuses of the same level as him were no match for him. Not to mention that Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the celestial god realm. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, he could still defeat Lu Ming. It's too early to say that. We'll know after the battle. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Divine Thunderbolt Spear Technique. Su Mu yelled, and a wild aura burst out from his body. Whoosh! A dazzling spear gleam transformed into a bolt of black lightning and charged toward Lu Ming. It was so fast that it might not be slower than lightning. At the same time, Lu Ming made his move too. He had quadrupled his strength and used the space-breaking technique. A spear glow stabbed at his opponent like a meteor. Ding! It was like a meteor and a black lightning collided on the fighting ring, resulting in a deafening explosion. Following it, a strong wind swept across the fighting ring. Spear glows burst out in all directions. The whole fighting ring was filled with colorful spear glows. Whoosh! Before the spear glows dissipated, the two figures were knocked back at the same time. The difference was that Su Mu only retreated about 100 meters before he stopped. Lu Ming, on the other hand, retreated a few thousand meters. Luckily, the fighting ring was big enough. Otherwise, Lu Ming would have been knocked out of the fighting ring. You want to fight with me with such strength? Get out of here! Su Mu bellowed. With a move, his body seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Then, in the fighting ring, streaks of black lightning charged toward Lu Ming. There were 108 black lightning bolts in total. These lightning bolts were all transformed by Su Mu's spear glow. The spear glow turned into black lightning. How wonderful! Lu Ming's heart stirred. It was the first time that Lu Ming had seen such a way of using a spear. There were all kinds of strange things in this world. It seems that I can only use the ancient god body. Lu Ming thought for a while, and then used the ancient god tactics. With the roar of an ancient god, Lu Ming transformed into the ancient god body. However, he only transformed into an orange-armored ancient god. An orange-armored ancient god was enough to deal with Su Mu. That's the ancient god body. As soon as Lu Ming displayed the ancient god body, he was recognized. This guy has cultivated the ancient god body. Wu Xuan narrowed his eyes. Lu Ming's strength was stronger than he had imagined. However, he was still confident that he could defeat Lu Ming. It would only take a little more effort. Space piercing, space piercing. After transforming into the ancient god body, Lu Ming continuously cast the space piercing move. Beams of spear gleams burst forth and charged towards Su Mu, colliding with the 108 black lightning bolts in the sky. Clang, 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 clang. Sparks flew in all directions on the fighting ring. However, after transforming into the ancient god body, Lu Ming's battle strength soared and completely surpassed Su Mu. After each collision, a black lightning bolt would collapse and disappear on the fighting ring. There were fewer and fewer black lightning bolts on the fighting ring. 107, 106. The speed of the reduction was amazing. After a while, there was only one black lightning bolt left on the fighting ring. Moon cutting. Lu Ming shouted and struck down with his spear. A crescent-shaped spear radiance cut the black lightning bolt. Boom! The black lightning bolt exploded. Then, Su Mu's figure reappeared. His face was pale, and he vomited blood as his body was thrown back. Bang! Lu Ming stomped on the ground and chased after Su Mu with his huge body. Chapter 29:59. I admit defeat. Seeing Lu Ming chasing after him, Su Mu yelled and quickly admitted defeat. Even Ta's strongest move had been broken by Lu Ming. He was severely injured and did not dare to continue the battle. If he continued, he would only be tortured. Hearing Su Mu's admission of defeat, Lu Ming did not continue to chase after him. He had no enmity with Su Mu, so it was enough to defeat him. Su Mu landed on the fighting ring and cupped his fists. "Thank you. You're only a third-level heaven god. I'm impressed." Then, Su Mu's figure flashed and rushed down the fighting ring. Lu Ming won the battle. This kid's battle strength is really shocking. Seeing Lu Ming defeat Su Mu, Pei Lin and the others became serious. Then, the battles continued. The people who were going to fight next were all people with high cultivation and astonishing strength. Lu Ming could not help but sigh. After leaving the Qin Tian Star Zone and entering the Chu Tian Star Zone, it seemed that all the geniuses he met had divine force. It seemed that divine force had become the standard for geniuses. Sacred divine force was not enough. The intense battle lasted for 3 full days. In the end, Pei Lin, Wu Shui, Dark Knight Rose, a bald young man, and Lu Ming became the top 5. Then, it was the battle between the top 5. In this battle, the Dark Knight Demon King announced that Dark Knight Rose would not participate. Lu Ming, Pei Lin, Wu Shui, and the bald young man would compete. The others did not have any objections. To be able to make it this far, their goal was to get first place. Therefore, it did not matter who would not participate. The first battle, Lu Ming and Pei Lin, the Dark Knight Demon King announced. Lu Ming and Pei Lin jumped onto the fighting ring. The two did not say anything and immediately engaged in a fierce battle. Pei Lin was very strong, even stronger than Su Mu. He had reached the 8th level heaven god realm. This time, Lu Ming had to transform into a green-armored ancient god to defeat Pei Lin. Damn it, how is this kid so strong? He didn't even use his full strength when fighting Su Mu. Out of everyone present, Wu Shui was the most frustrated. Previously, he had said that he would kill Lu Ming, but now, he was becoming less and less confident. Then, Wu Shui fought against the bald youth. The battle between the two of them was extremely strange. Wu Shui's body was covered in a bloody mist that enveloped the entire battle stage. The bald young man was unable to display his full strength. He was only able to display about 60 to 70% of his full strength. He was easily defeated by Wu Shui. "Kid, it's your turn next." After Wu Shui defeated the bald youth, he looked at Lu Ming provocatively. "It also attacks the soul?" Lu Ming whispered as a cold smile appeared on his face. Clearly, Wu Shui's attack method was very similar to that of the woman with the snake coiled around her arm. It could also directly attack the soul. Thus, his opponent couldn't display their full strength. However, Lu Ming was not afraid of this kind of attack at all because he had the quantifying character formula. In this way, the top 3 were determined. Next, the Dark Knight Rose will have a bye. The winner of the battle between Lu Ming and Wu Shui will be able to challenge the Dark Knight Rose. After defeating the Dark Knight Rose, he will be the champion of the Shanghai Grand Battle. If he can date my daughter, he will also receive 10 pounds of demonic night spring. The Dark Knight Demon announced. This made many people envious and jealous. 10 pounds of demonic night spring and a beauty like the Dark Knight Rose. It would be strange if they weren't jealous. In particular, some of the young men kept glancing at the sensitive parts of the Dark Knight Rose. Some parts of their bodies were already restless. They couldn't help it. The Dark Knight Rose was simply too alluring. "Kid, come on." Wu Shui rushed onto the battle stage and looked at Lu Ming with a ferocious expression. "As you wish." Lu Ming smiled faintly. He took a step forward and jumped onto the battle stage casually. Boom. As soon as Lu Ming jumped onto the battle stage, Wu Shui made his move. Wu Shui's entire body turned crimson red. From his pores, blood-red mist kept spewing out. In an instant, the entire battle stage was shrouded in blood-red mist. Lu Ming couldn't avoid it. He was shrouded in the blood-red mist. The blood-red mist seemed to have a mind of its own as it rushed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated his divine power and covered his body with 10 types of divine power to resist the blood-red mist. Sizzle. The blood-red mist was very similar to the mist of the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm. Lu Ming blocked it with 10 types of divine power, but he couldn't block much of it. Most of the mist rushed into Lu Ming's body and rushed towards the soul in his mind. "Leave it to me," the voice of the quantifying character formula sounded. A devouring force erupted and devoured all the mist. As for Lu Ming, he stood there without moving. Junior Sister Lien said that this kid is very strange, and that the spirit-refining chi doesn't seem to work on him. However, I don't believe that it has no effect at all. It's just that Junior Sister's cultivation is too low. Continue, continue. Wu Shui roared in his heart as he circulated his divine power. Through a special technique, his divine power was converted into spirit-refining chi. The mist on the battle stage became thicker and thicker. In the end, one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. At this moment, Lu Ming's body swayed as if he couldn't take it anymore. This kid finally can't take it anymore. Wu Shui was overjoyed. He shook his arms, and the 2 large snakes on his arms silently crawled towards Lu Ming. When they got close to Lu Ming, the 2 large snakes suddenly expanded and turned into 2 large pythons. They pounced on Lu Ming and spat out 2 streams of poisonous gas. Before the poisonous gas arrived, a nauseating smell filled the entire area. "I've been waiting for this." Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he sneered. With a thought, 9 ice chains flew out from his body. A bone-piercing chill spread out and layers of ice crystals appeared in the air. The poisonous gas spat out by the 2 large pythons was also frozen. Swoosh, swoosh. The 9 ice chains wrapped around the 2 giant pythons, and the chill seeped into the bodies of the pythons, freezing them. The 2 large pythons writhed and struggled violently. "Oh no!" Wu Shui's face changed. He took a step forward and pounced on Lu Ming. Roar! At this moment, Lu Ming let out a loud roar and turned into his ancient god body. However, Lu Ming still held back. He turned into a green-armored ancient god. Buzz! The long spear vibrated and swept out. It hit the 2 large pythons. The 2 large pythons screamed and their bodies exploded. They died on the spot. "Ah, damn it, I want you to die." Wu Shui roared and waved his hands. The fog in the fighting ring swirled and turned into 2 evil spirits. They slashed at Lu Ming. However, this kind of fog was useless against Lu Ming. He ignored the fog and attacked Wu Shui with his spear. Moon slashing. Lu Ming slashed out with his long spear. Red blood palm. Wu Shui also used his trump card. His body turned even redder and blood seemed to be flowing on the surface of his skin. Chapter 2960. However, although Wu Shui was a level 8 celestial god and had mastered divine power, his main attack was the Bloody Mist, which was his trump card. On the contrary, his frontal attack power was not very strong. His trump card was useless. Even Su Mu was not as strong as Wu Shui. Bang! Lu Ming's long spear collided with the Crimson Blood Palm. The Crimson Blood Palm only resisted for 2 breaths before it exploded. The spear radiance continued to hit Wu Shui's body. Wu Shui let out a blood-curdling scream as he was sent flying back, smashing heavily onto the battle stage. He slid for over 100 miles on the battle stage before flying out of the battle stage. Wu Shui was defeated. It was easier for Lu Ming to defeat Wu Shui. Everyone's eyes were focused on Lu Ming. Lu Ming had defeated Wu Shui. His next opponent was Dark Knight Rose. As long as he defeated Dark Knight Rose, Lu Ming would be the champion and even win the beauty's heart. There was a gust of fragrant wind. The Dark Knight Rose landed in front of Lu Ming. Dark Knight Rose was not wearing much. She had exposed everything except the parts that should not be exposed. Her skin was as white as jade, and she was neither fat nor thin. She was full of elasticity. On top of that, she had a face that could turn the world upside down, which made her even more alluring. She scanned Lu Ming with her seductive eyes, looking very satisfied. However, for some unknown reason, Lu Ming's body tensed up involuntarily when Dark Knight Rose sized him up. It was as if he was facing a terrifying enemy. What's going on? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His body reacted instinctively. It was a reaction in the face of danger. Dark Knight Rose gave him a terrifying sense of danger. Dark Knight Rose did not show any killing intent. Lu Ming was confused, but he did not show it on his face. He cupped his fists and said, "Please enlighten me." I admit defeat." Just when everyone thought that a fierce battle was about to break out, Dark Knight Rose's voice rang out. "What?" Everyone was stunned. Dark Knight Rose admitted defeat before the fight even started. What was going on? Could it be that Dark Knight Rose saw Lu Ming's strength and knew that she was no match for Lu Ming, so she admitted defeat? Someone guessed. I don't think that's right. The strength that Dark Knight Rose displayed before was simply unfathomable. She might be able to fight with Lu Ming, so why would she give up without a fight? I think that she has taken a fancy to that kid, so she might as well give up without a fight. Someone immediately retorted, leaving many people stunned. Don't tell me you've really fallen for me? Sigh. Looks like being handsome is also a kind of trouble. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. Haha, good. Since Rose has admitted defeat, then I will announce that the first place is Lu Ming. Dark Knight Demon King laughed and stood up to announce. I'm so jealous. Countless people cast envious and jealous gazes at Lu Ming. Humph. Wu Shui snorted coldly, extremely unhappy. He stared at Lu Ming with murderous intent constantly flashing. At this time, Dark Knight Demon King took out another jade bottle. This jade bottle was much bigger than the previous one, and it also contained the demonic night spring. Lu Ming, here's 10 caddies of demonic night spring. It's your reward. With a wave of his hand, the demonic night spring flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and took it, then kept it in his storage ring. Lu Ming, let me ask you a question. Since you've become the first place, are you willing to join Demon Capital Mountain and become the Demon King of Demon Capital Mountain? Dark Knight Demon King asked. I'm willing. Lu Ming didn't hesitate and directly nodded his head in agreement. You agree? Dark Knight Demon King was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Lu Ming to agree so readily. Yes, I agree. As Lu Ming said, his eyes involuntarily glanced at Dark Knight Rose, looking reluctant to leave. So that's how it is. Many people nodded. They knew that Lu Ming was charmed by Dark Knight Rose, which was why he agreed without hesitation. Indeed, how many men would be able to resist the temptation of a seductress like Dark Knight Rose who was so alluring? Dark Knight Demon King himself thought so too, and was immediately overjoyed. Then, Dark Knight Demon King asked the others who entered the top 10 if they were willing to join Demon Capital Mountain and become the Demon King. However, the reply he received was a shake of the head. Dark Knight Demon King was slightly disappointed, but he also understood that most of these geniuses came from some major forces. The position of Demon King couldn't move their hearts, unless there was someone as alluring as the Dark Knight Rose. All right, the Battle of Demon Capital is over. Next, I will hold a banquet. Everyone can enjoy to their heart's content, and don't go home until you're drunk, Dark Knight Demon King announced. Next, the battle platform was removed, and a large number of beautiful women flew out and began to set up a banquet in the empty space. After 3 rounds of drinking, the crowd dispersed. Lu Ming, you can move into the City Lord's mansion in the future. Dark Knight Rose walked gracefully to Lu Ming's side, and a fragrance rushed into Lu Ming's nose. Okay, Lu Ming naturally agreed. He came here to investigate the collusion between the Dark Ice Clan and the people of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. The patriarch of the Ice Spirit Clan suspected that the Demon Capital Mountain was probably a spy of some great force of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace, and that they were there to coordinate with the Dark Ice Clan. Therefore, if he wanted to find out the truth, entering the City Lord's mansion was the best choice. In addition, entering the City Lord's mansion was also the best choice to find out where they were locked up in Autumn Moon. This was exactly what Lu Ming wanted. How could Lu Ming refuse? That night, Lu Ming moved into the City Lord's mansion, which made many people jealous. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. Young Master Lu Ming, Miss wants to see you. On the evening of the 3rd day, a maid came to invite Lu Ming. The maid was none other than Dark Knight Rose's maid. Finally, she's looking for me. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. For the past 2 days, Dark Knight Rose had not come to look for Lu Ming. Now, she had finally come. For the past 2 days, Lu Ming did not take the initiative to look for Dark Knight Rose. This was because he always felt a sense of danger from Dark Knight Rose. This feeling made him very uncomfortable. It was a pity that Guillermo was not around. Otherwise, he would have asked Guillermo for advice. As for the measure character formula and the battle character formula, although they had lived for countless years, they did not know much about them. Okay, let's go. Since Dark Knight Rose had taken the initiative to invite him, Lu Ming had no reason to refuse. He could take the opportunity to find out more information. Following the maid, they walked around in circles until they arrived at a courtyard. In the courtyard, there was a small bridge with flowing water and the fragrance of flowers. It was very elegant. On a small river, there was a pavilion. In the pavilion, there was a stone table and stone stools. Some wine and dishes were already placed on the table. At this time, the sun had already set. In the pavilion, there were a few candles. The candlelight flickered, and the light was dim. "Brother Lu, please." Dark Knight Rose stood up to welcome him. Chapter 2961. Today, Dark Knight Rose had changed her attire, revealing even more of her body. She looked majestic as the veil fluttered in the wind, revealing a pair of peerlessly beautiful legs. It was truly filled with boundless temptation. Although Lu Ming had a strong will, his heart wavered at the sight. "Many thanks." Lu Ming calmed himself down and walked into the pavilion. As for that maid, she had already left. Only Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose remained in the courtyard. The two of them sat at a stone table. Dark Knight Rose intentionally sat on a stone bench beside Lu Ming. A burst of fragrance entered Lu Ming's nose. Dark Knight Rose was wearing a translucent veil that completely revealed her alluring figure. "Brother Lu, come, have a drink." Dark Knight Rose poured some wine for Lu Ming. "Many thanks." Lu Ming raised his cup and drained it in one gulp. "Brother Lu, what do you think of Rose?" Dark Knight Rose suddenly asked. She stared unblinkingly at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's heart jumped. He hadn't expected Dark Knight Rose to be so direct. "Lady Rose is a heavenly beauty. She's a rare beauty." Lu Ming calmed himself down. "Is that so? Actually, the main reason we held the battle in Shanghai was to find a husband for Rose. Lu Ming, your talent is unparalleled. You're perfect to be Rose's husband." Dark Knight Rose said in a sweet voice. Her cheeks were blushing. She suddenly turned around and sat in Lu Ming's arms with her voluptuous and stunning body. Lu Ming was stunned. "Dark Knight Rose, isn't this too direct?" Seduction. This was a naked attempt to seduce Lu Ming. The Dark Knight Rose's body was shockingly bouncy. Sitting in Lu Ming's arms, the temptation was simply fatal. Even with Lu Ming's willpower, his blood began to flow faster, and his heart began to beat faster. A certain part of his body began to twitch. "Lu Ming, you seem to be reacting." Dark Knight Rose smiled and stared at Lu Ming. She carefully sized up Lu Ming, and a trace of greed flashed in the depths of her eyes. However, this trace of greed disappeared in a flash. Even Lu Ming did not notice it. However, Lu Ming instinctively felt a deep sense of danger. This sense of crisis caused his mind to tremble. Lu Ming felt that Dark Knight Rose was going to eat him alive. In an instant, Lu Ming calmed down. "Lu Ming, don't leave tonight. Okay?" Dark Knight Rose spoke again. Even a fool would be able to understand what she meant. No normal man would be able to resist such temptation. However, Lu Ming had already calmed down. He could feel that the sense of danger coming from Dark Knight Rose was getting stronger and stronger. He had a feeling that if he couldn't resist this temptation and really did have a relationship with Dark Knight Rose, he would most likely die. Lu Ming's mind spun as he tried to think of a countermeasure. As for Dark Knight Rose, her small hand was already moving up and down Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming reached out and grabbed Dark Knight Rose's hand. He clenched his teeth and pretended to resist the temptation. "Miss Rose, Lu Ming has never experienced this kind of thing before. Furthermore, we don't even know each other. It's not good to do this kind of thing." "What's not good about it? We can slowly get to know each other in the future." Dark Knight Rose smiled. Her breath smelled like orchids, and a fragrance entered Lu Ming's nose. Lu Ming's heartbeat quickened. "No, there's poison in this fragrance." Lu Ming's heart shook. He finally sensed that there was poison in this fragrance. This kind of poison could ignite a person's desire. No wonder, even with Lu Ming's mental fortitude, he couldn't remain calm. This dark night rose really doesn't have good intentions. Could it be that she cultivates some kind of evil technique that uses yang to replenish yin? Lu Ming's mind spun. He guessed that Dark Night Rose had cultivated some kind of evil technique and had taken a fancy to his talent. She wanted to use this kind of evil technique on him. Old Liang, I'll leave it to you. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to the Liang gene art. Immediately, the Liang gene art released a suction force that absorbed the poison. Lu Ming immediately calmed down. Lu Ming circulated his divine energy and pushed Dark Night Rose away. He moved to a nearby stone bench and said, "Miss Rose, I'm a rather traditional person. Before I understand everything, I won't easily have a relationship with a woman. Please forgive me." As Lu Ming spoke, he put on the look of a gentleman. This fellow. Dark Night Rose clenched her teeth. She didn't expect Long Chun to still have such a stubborn way of thinking. Forcing out a faint smile, she said, "Brother Lu, don't misunderstand. Just now, Rose was just testing you. Brother Lu really is a gentleman. Rose admires you. Come, let's continue drinking." Tch. Lu Ming disdained her in his heart. Testing? If Lu Ming hadn't resisted the temptation just now, he would have been soaked. Come, let's drink. Lu Ming naturally wouldn't show it on his face. He raised his cup and drank with Dark Night Rose. After that, they began to chat. "Right, Miss Rose, I heard that there's a group of devil slaves in Demon Capital. I wonder where they're locked up." Lu Ming asked calmly as he sipped his wine. "The devil slaves are locked up in the Beast Battle Arena." Dark Night Rose seemed a bit absent-minded after being rejected by Lu Ming. She didn't think too much about it. Beast Battle Arena. Lu Ming's heart was filled with a cold, murderous intent, but he didn't show it on his face. Lu Ming controlled his temper and drank a few more cups before finding an excuse to leave. "Then Rose won't see you off." Dark Night Rose smiled. "You don't have to," Lu Ming said, and then left the place. After watching Lu Ming leave, Dark Night Rose revealed a ferocious expression. Her eyes were filled with greed. A third-level celestial god has such terrifying combat strength. It's rare. Moreover, I can feel an extremely strong vitality. I must get it. I must get it. Lu Ming, you won't be able to escape from me. Hee hee. Dark Night Rose let out a sharp laugh. Lu Ming left Dark Night Rose's residence. He didn't return to his room, but left the City Lord's mansion. He asked around for the location of the Beast Battle Arena and headed there. He was burning with anxiety. He didn't know how Autumn Moon, Wu Zifeng, and Yu Linglong were doing after so many days. If anything happened to them, Lu Ming would raise the Demon Capital Mountain to the ground. The Beast Battle Arena was huge. It was a huge building not far from the City Lord's mansion. When Lu Ming approached the Beast Battle Arena, he heard loud cheers coming from the Beast Battle Arena. Lu Ming went straight to the entrance of the Beast Battle Arena. Someone was guarding the entrance of the Colosseum, stopping Lu Ming. "Entrance fee, 1,000 mid-grade god crystals." A bulky man said coldly. Lu Ming gave him 1,000 mid-grade god crystals and entered the Beast Battle Arena. The cheers became even louder as he entered the Beast Battle Arena. Chapter 2962. The Beast Battle Arena was circular with a huge battle stage in the middle. There were seats all around the battle stage. At this moment, 90% of the seats were filled with people of all shapes and sizes. Roar. At this moment, there was a great battle happening in the middle of the battle stage. A snakeman expert was in an intense battle with a desolate beast. The snakeman expert was a first-level celestial god, and that desolate beast was also a first-level celestial god. Both of them were of similar cultivation realms. When they fought together, it was extremely tragic. However, that desolate beast was clearly more ferocious. It was not afraid of death as it constantly roared and pounced towards that snakeman expert. The snakeman expert was gradually losing and was forced to retreat. Roar. Finally, the desolate beast went berserk. At the risk of being injured, it tore the snakeman expert into pieces. Fresh blood splattered all over the ground. Great. Good kill. Exciting. At the scene, there was a tsunami of cheers. Countless people roared in excitement. Men, clean it up. Immediately, someone came to the battle stage and cleaned up the snakeman corpse, wiping away the bloodstains. And that injured, desolate beast was also brought away. Following that, another battle erupted. The opponent of the intense battle was a human burly man. On the other side, it was still a desolate beast. Place your bets, place your bets. Both of them are peak 9th level true god. Who do you bet on to win? Above the battle stage, there was an elder standing in the air. His voice reverberated throughout the entire place. I feel that the desolate beast is stronger. I bet 10,000 middle-grade divine crystals that the desolate beast will win. No, I feel that the human warrior's blood is surging and filled with a baleful aura. I feel that he will be stronger. I bet 20,000 divine crystals that the human warrior will win. Many people began to place their bets. However, their bets were very simple. Many people had something like an array plate in their hands. They entered the amount of bets and who they wanted to bet on. When they left this place, they would settle the accounts. The Beast Battle Arena was organized by the Eventide Demon King. No one dared to renege on their debts here. After the bets were placed, the battle began. The human burly man and the desolate beast engaged in an intense battle. Both of them were peak 9th level true god realm cultivators. But the moment they made their moves, the human burly man gained the upper hand. The human burly man's attacks were decisive. One look, and one could tell that he was someone who had experienced hundreds of battles. His attack power was very strong. From the very beginning, he had been suppressing the desolate beast. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Those who bet on the human were overjoyed, while those who bet on the desolate beast were sighing. Kill. After exchanging dozens of blows with the desolate beast, the burly human roared and slashed out with his saber, chopping off the desolate beast's head. The brawny human won. Someone, clean this up. In the air above the battle platform, the old man ordered again. Wait. At this moment, a silver-robed young man stood up from his seat and stepped into the air. It's Wan Xing. That human is finished. That's right. Wan Xing probably made a mistake again, betting on the desolate beast to win. Every time he makes a mistake, he will feel extremely unhappy. Once he is unhappy, he will kill. Shoo, lower your voice. He's the son of the demon lord. Many people whispered when they saw this young man. They seemed to be very afraid of him. Demon Lord was a title used in Demon City. Under the Dark Knight Demon Lord, there were 9 Demon Lords. Each Demon Lord had a very high cultivation, surpassing the 9th level Heavenly God Realm. They were half-step Divine Kings. In the Heavenly God Realm, one had to condense a star core to break through to the Divine King Realm. Only by successfully condensing a star core could one be considered a true Divine King. However, a star core could not be condensed just because one wanted to. In the process of condensing a star core, there was a transitional process. During this process, the star core would not be completely condensed, but it was also the process of transforming the divine fire into a star core. This process was the transition from a heavenly god to a divine king, or a half-step divine king. A half-step divine king's strength was not as strong as a true divine king, but it was still much stronger than an ordinary 9th level heavenly god. The 9 demon lords under the Dark Knight Demon Lord were such existences. Wan Xing was the only son of one of the demon lords. In Demon City, he was naturally a character who could do whatever he wanted. Young Master Wan. The old man in the air bowed to Wan Xing. You caused me to lose money. You deserve to die. Kill. Wan Xing shouted coldly and charged towards the brawny human. The brawny human was shocked. He roared angrily and used all his strength to block. However, Wan Xing was a first-level heavenly god. Although the brawny human was strong, he was still a lot weaker than Wan Xing Puchi. Blood splattered everywhere. The brawny human was killed by Wan Xing's sword. After killing the brawny human, Wan Xing snorted and returned to his seat. The old man in the air did not even dare to fart. One had to know that Wan Xing's father, the all-evil demon lord, was overseeing the beast battle arena. Whoever dared to say a word about Wan Xing was courting death. Moreover, It was just a demon slave. There was no need to offend Wan Xing. Someone immediately tidied up the battle stage. All right, the next demon slave is a new one. Moreover, he's very young. I heard that his strength is not bad. Everyone, make sure to place your bets. The old man in the air spoke again. Then, he waved his hand and the door beside the battle stage opened. Roar. From one of the doors came the roar of a wild beast. A huge creature walked out. This was a giant bull with a cultivation of 8th level true god. From another door, a young man stepped out. Wu Zifeng. Seeing this figure, Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. This figure was shockingly Wu Zifeng. Not seeing him for a period of time, Wu Zifeng looked much more haggard. Clearly, he had suffered quite a bit of torture during this period of time. Damn it, this is the demon slave? Lu Ming's killing intent was strong to the extreme. At the thought of fighting with a desolate beast under such an environment for others to watch, Lu Ming wished that he could flatten Fiend Capital Mountain. Starting the bets. This young man has 7th level true god cultivation. Desolate beast, 8th level true god. In the air, the old man shouted. 7th level true god against 8th level true god? Could this young man be a proud son of heaven? Many people discussed and began to discuss how to place their bets. Humph, really stupid. Look at his appearance. He's just a pretty boy. What kind of proud son of heaven is he? I bet on the desolate beast winning. Wan Xing snorted and bet on the desolate beast winning. Although Wu Zifeng looked a lot more haggard, it could not hide his handsomeness. As for Wan Xing, he looked ordinary. Looking at Wu Zifeng, he was extremely jealous. This kid is doomed. Many people thought in their hearts and secretly shook their heads. Wan Xing bet on the desolate beast winning. If the desolate beast really won, then Wu Zifeng would definitely die under the hands of the demonic beast. If Wu Zifeng won and caused Wan Xing to lose money, looking at Wan Xing's appearance, he probably would not let Wu Zifeng off. No matter what, Wu Zifeng had to die. Soon, the bets were over and the battle began. Moo! That giant bull roared and charged towards Wu Zifeng. Its huge body caused the battle stage to rumble. Chapter 2963. Many people watched anxiously. They wanted to see how Wu Zifeng would deal with an 8th level true god desolate beast with his 7th level true god cultivation. Just as the giant bull was about to reach Wu Zifeng moved. His figure flashed and dodged the giant bull's attack. Then, a sword light slashed out from his hand towards the giant bull. Fast, accurate, ruthless. Poochie. Long wounds appeared on the giant bull's body. They went straight to the bones and blood flowed out. Roar. The giant bull let out a miserable cry, but its bestial nature was stimulated. It twisted its body and charged towards Wu Zifeng again. The two bull horns glowed and shot out two beams of light that were as sharp as divine blades. However, there was another sword light in Wu Zifeng's palm that collided with the giant bull's attack. Pong! Pong! The giant bull's attack was sent flying by Wu Zifeng. Wu Zifeng took a step forward and slashed out again. This sword was aimed at the giant bull's neck. Puff! Blood splattered everywhere. The giant bull's head was chopped off by Wu Zifeng's sword. Wu Zifeng only used 2 moves to kill the giant bull that was 1 level higher than him. This result was within Lu Ming's expectations. In fact, with Wu Zifeng's strength, if he went all out, he would probably be able to kill the giant bull in 1 move. So powerful. Haha, I won. There was a hubbub at the scene. Many people who bet on Wu Zifeng's victory were overjoyed. As for those who bet on the desolate beast's victory, their faces were ugly. The ugliest was Wan Xing. Today, he had failed to place his bets and was in a bad mood. Courting death, Wan Xing roared angrily. His body shot out from his seat and charged towards the battle stage. Young Master Wan, wait a minute, the old man in the air hurriedly called out. Spit it out, Wan Xing shouted impatiently. Young Master Wan, this person's talent is exceptional. You can't kill him. Keeping him alive might be useful. The old man advised. With Wu Zifeng's strength, if he was properly nurtured, he might become a sharp blade for the Devil Capital Mountain. What do you mean I can't kill him? Let me tell you, There is no one here that I can't kill. What does a little talent count for? Scram. If you don't scram, I will kill you as well. Wan Xing shouted coldly, his killing intent cold. The old man's expression turned ugly as he stepped back helplessly. Brat, I'll send you on your way. Wan Xing stared coldly at Wu Zifeng. How dare you touch me? If I don't die, I'll definitely destroy the Devil Capital Mountain. Wu Zifeng said. It was truly a case of a tiger being bullied by a dog. He, the dignified young master of the Wu family, had actually fallen into such a situation. He also felt stifled in his heart. You want to destroy my Devil Capital Mountain? I'll destroy you right now. Wan Xing shouted. He was just about to charge towards Wu Zifeng when a figure suddenly appeared in front of him, blocking his path. That figure was naturally Lu Ming. He originally wanted to wait until he saw Autumn Moon and Yu Linglong before making his move. However, he had no choice but to do so now. Brat, who are you? Scram. Wan Xing was enraged when he saw someone daring to block his path. Scram. Lu Ming said coldly. What? Wan Xing was stunned before he became enraged. In this beast battle arena, there was actually someone who dared to ask him to scram. He was simply courting death. Little bastard, I'll destroy you. Wan Xing roared furiously and charged toward Lu Ming with his palm. However, Lu Ming waved his hand. Slap. A crisp sound echoed throughout the entire arena. Wan Xing couldn't even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. His attack was easily defeated by Lu Ming and a slap landed on his face. Wan Xing spun 81 rounds in the air. His face was swollen like a pig's head. He looked at Lu Ming with a dumbfounded expression. It took him quite a while to react. Arg, bastard. How dare you hit me? How dare you hit me? I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death. Men, cripple this brat for me. Wan Xing screamed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Instantly, figures flew out from all directions of the beast battle arena. Among these figures, there were both men and women. All of them were wearing iron armor, and they surrounded Lu Ming. Brat, how dare you hit young Master Wan? I think you're tired of living. Kneel down and surrender. A burly man strode forward and slapped Lu Ming with his palm. This person was a level 4 heavenly god. He thought it was easy to take down Lu Ming. Brother Wu, where are Autumn Moon and Miss You? Where are they? Are they all right? Meanwhile, Lu Ming was communicating with Wu Zifeng. They're fine. They're being held captive in the beast battle arena. We'll be able to save them once we break the beast battle arena. Wu Zifeng immediately transmitted his voice to Lu Ming. Very well. Lu Ming's eyes flickered with a cold, murderous intent. You asked for it. Die. Lu Ming snapped and threw a punch forward. A 9-clawed dragon appeared and charged at the burly man. That burly 4th-layer celestial god didn't even have the chance to scream before his body exploded and his soul dispersed into thin air. The others were startled. How dare you kill the Demon City Guard? How bold of you. Let's attack together. At least a few dozen Demon City Guards roared at the same time. God force of various colors surged and attacked Lu Ming. The Demon City Guards were the guards of the Demon City. They were a lot stronger than the demon generals of the Demon City. The weakest among the Demon City Guards was a 3rd-layer heavenly god. Dozens of Demon City Guards above the 3rd-layer heavenly god realm attacked together. Today, I'll destroy the beast battle arena. Lu Ming roared and performed the divine dragon image art. 6 9-clawed dragons roared and pounced forward. Each of them was 10,000 meters long and charged at everyone. Although the Demon City Guards were strong, they were too weak compared to Lu Ming. The 9-clawed dragon image art pounced forward and destroyed all the attacks aimed at it. The 9-clawed dragon did not stop and continued to attack with its sharp claws. Screams were heard continuously. Every second, a Demon City Guard was torn apart by the 9-clawed dragon and died on the spot. At this moment, the spectators around the beast battle arena were stunned. They did not expect that someone would dare to cause trouble here and kill so many Demon City Guards. This was a big deal. The entire Demon City would be in an uproar. As for Wan Xing, his face was pale and his body was trembling. Every Demon City Guard here was stronger than him, but they were killed one after another. Young Master Wan, retreat. The old man who was in charge of the beast battle arena took Wan Xing and quickly retreated to the spectator stand. How dare you cause trouble here? You're courting death. Demon City guards, move out and kill the intruder. The entire Colosseum was alarmed. The doors on the four sides of the Colosseum opened, and figures flew out one after another. Powerful auras soared into the air. Demon City guards. All of them were Demon City guards. There were more than 500 of them. Among them, some of them had strong auras that surpassed the 7th layer heavenly god realm. The Demon City guards guarding the beast battle arena had arrived. This was a terrifying force that no one in the Demon City mountain could defeat. Chapter 2964. Very well. How dare you kill a Demon City guard in the beast arena? No one can save you today. A cold voice resounded in the air above the beast arena. Then, a silver light flashed and a middle-aged man in a silver robe appeared in the air. Father! Wan Xing was elated when he saw the middle-aged man in a silver robe. This middle-aged man was one of the 9 demon lords of Demon City, Wan Xing's father, Wan Yi. Father, quick, kill this brat. No, I want this brat to suffer a fate worse than death, Wan Xing roared. Don't worry, he won't die so easily in my hands. Destroy his cultivation first, Wan Yi said coldly. Demon Lord, leave this brat to me. A tall and sturdy man in iron armor asked for the order. Go. Wan Yi nodded. This burly man in armor was a level 9 heavenly god. It was more than enough to deal with Lu Ming, who was only a level 3 heavenly god. Boom. The burly man in armor took a step forward and a violent aura burst out from his body. Brat, I'll break your right arm first. A sharp spear appeared in the burly man's hand. As soon as he finished speaking, the burly man in armor charged towards Lu Ming and slashed his spear at Lu Ming's right arm. Although he was burly, his speed was shockingly fast. Level 9 heavenly god? Lu Ming muttered and activated the battle formula, quadrupling his combat strength. Lu Ming's combat ability increased by 4 times. His combat ability soared, and he kept throwing punches. Roar! The roar of a dragon resounded through the sky as the 6 9-clawed dragon charged towards the burly man in armor. Break! The burly man in armor shouted coldly. His spear vibrated as he attacked the 6 9-clawed dragon in an instant. Boom! Boom! The spear struck the 9-clawed dragon's claw, and a bright light burst out. However, the result was not what the burly man in armor had expected. He thought that he could defeat the 9-clawed dragon in an instant, but the reality was that his body was numb, and he almost retreated. How can this be? How can this power be so strong? The armored man was shocked. Roar! At this moment, another dragon's roar sounded. It turned out that Lu Ming had pushed the Divine Dragon Aspect spell to the limit, and the Divine Dragon Aspect spell broke through again, allowing him to condense 7 Divine Dragon Aspects in one go. The 7th Divine Dragon Dharma Idol then pounced on the armored man. The armored man couldn't withstand it and was knocked back. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Ming unleashed the ice chains. The 9th and most powerful ice chains flew out and wrapped around the burly man in the armor. A layer of ice armor appeared on the burly man in the armor with a shocking chill. Whoosh! Lu Ming charged forward, his palm like a saber. With a single slash, the armored man's right hand was severed. The armored man wanted to chop off Lu Ming's right hand, but after exchanging a few blows, his own hand was chopped off by Lu Ming. The others were so shocked that they couldn't speak. Lu Ming was only a 3rd-layer heavenly god, but he defeated a 9th-layer heavenly god in just a few blows. This was unbelievable. Wan Xing's face turned pale with fright. As for Wan Yi, his eyes were filled with shock. Demon Lord, save me. At this moment, the armored man was terrified and cried for help. If you want to cripple me, you'll have to be prepared to be killed by me, Lu Ming said coldly, forming a battle sword with divine power in his hand. Brat, how dare you? Wan Yi shouted. Ridiculous. Lu Ming sneered and slashed down with his battle sword, killing the armored man. A 9th-layer heavenly god was considered a top expert in the demon capital mountain, but he was killed just like that. You're courting death. Wani was enraged, and a violent aura rushed out of his body. Boom. Wani's body emitted a bright silver light, and a terrifying pressure spread out in all directions. Wani's aura was much stronger than the armored man's. This was the aura of a half-step godly emperor with strong divine power. Brat, I'm going to crush you. Silver Claw. Wani shouted furiously, and his body turned silver. His claws were like metal, and he grabbed at Lu Ming. The force was whistling. Before it arrived, the force was so oppressive that Lu Ming found it hard to breathe. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. A half-step godly emperor was indeed much stronger than a ninth-layer heavenly god. Ancient God Technique. Without hesitation, Lu Ming executed the ancient god technique at full force and turned into a blue-armored ancient god. Sky-piercing. After turning into a blue-armored ancient god, Lu Ming thrust out his spear. Boom. The bright spear light clashed with Wani's silver claw, and a terrifying explosion took place. At the same time, countless tiny spear lights and force flew in all directions. Shit, run. Run. Countless people in the spectator stands were shocked, and they fled in all directions. However, when the force landed, many people screamed and were killed by the force. Boom. Boom. The spectator stands of the bestial battle arena were constantly rumbling, and huge pits were formed. Cracks appeared on the ground. Through the pits and cracks, one could see a huge underground space beneath the bestial battle arena. The space below had been completely excavated, and it formed a huge secret chamber where countless desolate beasts and demonic slaves were imprisoned. Countless spectators fled in all directions, and many of them flew to the sky. It was a mess. In the sky, Lu Ming and Wani were still in a stalemate. Boom. Boom. The two of them continued to exchange a few blows. In the end, Lu Ming gained the upper hand, and he destroyed Wani's silver claw. Wani's body shook violently, and he was sent flying. Lu Ming did not pursue him. He twisted his body and rushed underground. Boom. Lu Ming swept out with his spear, striking the ground. The ground exploded with a terrifying boom, and it constantly collapsed. The vast underground space was completely exposed. Some of the secret chambers collapsed, and some desolate beasts rushed out. Roar! Roar! Many of the desolate beasts had huge bodies. They roared at the sky, and rushed out of the shackles, and rushed into the sky. Set up the array. Wani roared. More than 500 demon capital guards set up a large array in the sky. The large array was activated, and countless divine lights shot towards the desolate beasts. Many of the desolate beasts were penetrated by the divine lights and died on the spot. Brother Wu, where are Autumn Moon and the rest? Bring me there. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Wu Zifeng. Follow me. Wu Zifeng shouted and rushed towards a crack in the ground. Lu Ming followed closely behind, and they flew into the underground space. Originally, the underground space of the bestial battle arena was guarded by many demon capital guards, but now that the demon capital guards had left, there was no obstruction in the underground space. The underground space was huge, and it was divided into 7 levels. According to Wu Zifeng, they were imprisoned on the 5th level. The two of them headed straight for the 5th level, but wherever Lu Ming passed, he would attack. He would blast open the secret chambers and release the desolate beasts and demonic slaves inside. Chapter 2965. Ha ha ha, I'm free. I'm going to kill my way out and kill those sons of B** cheese in Modu City. Many demonic slaves roared, their eyes ferocious and filled with murderous intent. Some of the demonic slaves here were those who had committed crimes in Modu Mountain and were sent here to become demonic slaves. However, there were even more devil slaves that the Devil Capital Mountain had secretly captured from the outside. Naturally, these devil slaves hated the Devil Capital Mountain to the bone. Roar! Many desolate beasts roared angrily. Their huge bodies slammed everywhere as they charged outside. There were also many demonic slaves who rushed to other secret chambers to release more demonic slaves and wild beasts. Later on, Lu Ming did not even need to do anything. The secret chambers in the underground space were constantly being opened as demonic slaves and wild beasts charged out. However, all evil demon lord and the 500 demon capital guards were too strong. They formed a large formation and shot out beams of divine light, killing a large number of demonic slaves and wild beasts. However, there were too many demonic slaves and wild beasts, some of which were even stronger. All evil, and the rest began to feel pressured. "Quick, send the signal for help," all evil roared. Immediately, someone sent the signal. Beams of light shot up into the sky and could be seen by the entire Modu city. Something happened in the bestial battle arena. "It's the signal for help. Get ready to move out." Instantly, the Modu city was alarmed. The demon capital guards were all ready to move out. "Demon capital guards, gather." Two figures walked out from the city lord mansion. One was a middle-aged man while the other was an old man. Both of them exuded a terrifying aura. These two were half-step divine kings, the other two of the 9 demon lords in Modu city. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Beams of light flew from all directions in Modu city and landed in front of the two men. They were all demon capital guards in iron armor. Soon, around 2,000 demon capital guards had gathered. "All of you, follow us to the bestial battle arena and kill all the enemies," one of the demon lords said in a loud voice. "Kill." All the demon capital guards roared. Then, the 2 demon lords led around 2,000 demon capital guards and charged towards the bestial battle arena. It seems like someone can't wait any longer. Not far away, a young figure appeared in a flash. This figure was none other than Sumu. "Haha, that's great. We've lured away quite a number of demon capital guards. Now, we can begin." In another direction, another figure appeared. It was Paylin. "Let's wait a little longer. Let's wait for the battle to start over there, in case these demon capital guards return." On the other side, 2 silhouettes appeared. They were Wu Shui and the woman with the snake coiled around her arm. The one who had just spoken was Wu Shui. "That's right, let's wait. This time, I must get a demon lord token." Pei Lin muttered, his eyes flashing with killing intent. In the nearby buildings, silhouettes flickered. Other than Wu Shui, Pei Lin, and the others, there were also some other geniuses. These people all seemed to have the same goal as they quietly waited. In the Beast Arena, Lu Ming and Wu Zifeng smoothly arrived at the 5th floor. In a secret room, he saw Qiu Autumn Moon and Yuling Long. Both of them looked much more haggard than before. "The Devil Capital Mountain shall be destroyed." Looking at Qiu Autumn Moon's haggard face, Lu Ming's eyes flashed with shocking killing intent. "Young master." Lu Ming, Qiu Autumn Moon, and Yuling Long were overjoyed when they saw Lu Ming. "Qiu Autumn Moon, are you all right?" Lu Ming asked. "I'm fine. Don't worry, young master." Qiu Autumn Moon shook her head and smiled. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. Seeing that Qiu Autumn Moon and Yuling Long were fine, he was relieved. "Let's go. Let's charge out," Lu Ming said. Then, he rushed out with Qiu Autumn Moon and the others. Outside, it was a complete mess. Demon slaves and desolate beasts charged, while Wan Xie and the demon capital guards set up a large formation to kill the demons and desolate beasts. The huge beast arena was filled with blood qi. It was like hell on earth. "That kid, it's that kid. He wants to save people and leave." Wan Xing was hiding behind Wan Xie. He looked around and noticed Lu Ming and Qiu Autumn Moon the moment they came out. However, Lu Ming was in his ancient god body state. It was hard for him not to attract attention. "Don't let that kid escape. Kill him." Wan Xie roared and commanded the demon capital guards. Suddenly, terrifying divine light blasted towards Lu Ming. "Hide behind me," Lu Ming shouted and protected Qiu Autumn Moon and the others behind him. He waved his spear and swept it towards the divine light. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions rang out as beams of divine light were sent flying by him. "Let's go." Lu Ming controlled his divine power. A wave of divine power enveloped Qiu Autumn Moon and the others and brought them in another direction. He planned to leave this place first before settling the score with the demon capital mountain. "You want to leave? Stop him. Don't bother about those demonic slaves. This kid is the culprit. He must be killed." Wanxie roared. Then, the array formed by Wanxie and the demon capital guards changed direction and blasted most of the divine light towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's escape route was blocked. Go, go. As a result, many demonic slaves and desolate beasts were no longer obstructed. They rushed out of the encirclement and flew towards the beast arena. You want to leave? All of you stay. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. In the sky, a blood-red saber light suddenly appeared. As the saber light slashed down, at least dozens of demonic slaves were killed. Hee hee hee. A sharp sneer sounded. In the sky, pairs of ghostly claws suddenly appeared. With a swipe, dozens of demonic slaves were killed. Then, two figures appeared in the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. Demon Lord. It's the Demon Lord. Damn it. Many demonic slaves screamed in horror. The other two demon lords of the demon capital mountain had arrived. At the same time, behind them, streams of light rapidly flew over. The other demon capital guards were rushing over. Charge out together. Otherwise, when the demon capital guards arrive, we will all die. A demonic slave roared. Kill together. Charge. Many demonic slaves and desolate beasts rushed towards the sky together. Courting death, the two demon lords shouted at the same time and attacked together. The blood-red saber light and the pitch-black ghostly claws appeared in the void again. The cultivation of the demon lords was too strong. They could completely crush these desolate beasts and demonic slaves. Screams were heard as a large number of demonic slaves and desolate beasts' corpses fell to the ground. After a while, the demon capital guards arrived. The battle was one-sided and turned into a massacre. On the other side, Lu Ming's escape route was also blocked. Get lost. Lu Ming roared. His spear turned into a few hundred meters long and constantly swept out. Beams of divine light were sent flying. However, Wanxie and the 500 demon capital guards formed a large array. With their strength gathered, their strength was truly astonishing. Lu Ming constantly attacked, but he was still firmly held back. Chapter 2966. Apocalyptic Triple Strike. Supernova? Seeing that the other demon lords and demon capital guards were rushing over, Lu Ming was also a little anxious and used his strongest move. Lu Ming's body burst out with a resplendent spear light. An incomparably huge spear light soared into the sky like a pillar that supported the heavens. Supernova, when cultivated to the highest level, was said to be able to explode a planet. After using this move, endless divine power in Lu Ming's body surged towards his hands like it was free. The divine power in Lu Ming's body, as well as the divine power of the 10 divine fires, was instantly sucked dry. This move truly consumed too much divine power. Fortunately, Lu Ming had the quantifying character formula. The quantifying character formula glowed as an endless stream of divine power surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's divine power once again became vigorous and was maintained at its peak state. When this move was used, Wanxie's expression changed drastically. He felt a fatal danger. Quick, gather your strength. Wanxie roared. Wong. Every demon capital guard emitted a resplendent light. They formed a large array, and between them, there seemed to be an invisible thread that connected them together, allowing their power to flow through each other. Boom! A huge beam of divine light formed and blasted toward Lu Ming, colliding with the supernova move. The entire bestial battle arena shook violently. Endless energy blasted the surrounding seats, the stands, and the walls of the bestial battle arena. Even though the bestial battle arena was protected by an array, it couldn't withstand it and constantly shattered. In the next moment, the entire bestial battle arena collapsed and turned into ruins. Some of the demon slaves and desolate beasts nearby didn't even have time to scream before they were torn apart by the overflowing energy and died on the spot. Break! Lu Ming roared as he held the spear with both hands. Divine power surged into the spear in his hands from afar. The radiance of the spear light became even more dazzling. When the radiance reached a certain level, it suddenly exploded. The spear light exploded, erupting with a terrifying energy that directly destroyed the divine light condensed by the demon capital guard's array. Boom! Waves of terrifying energy rushed towards the array formed by the demon capital guards. Oh! Wretched cries rang out continuously as cracks appeared on the bodies of some of the weaker demon capital guards. Then, they were torn apart. In an instant, at least dozens of Fiend City guards had died. The entire formation formed by the demon capital guard retreated over 1,000 meters. Such power. Wan Xie trembled with fear. The power of this move of Lu Ming's was truly terrifying. If he were to face this move alone, even if he didn't die, he would still be heavily injured. On the other side, when the other two demon masters saw this scene, they were also extremely shocked. That brat is evil. I'll bring people to support Wan He. One of the demon masters, who looked like an old man, said as he led the 1,000 demon capital guards and charged towards the all-demons demon master. Set up the formation. As soon as the old devil master gave the order, over 1,000 devil metropolis guards formed a new formation. Divine power surged, and a beam of divine light shot towards Lu Ming. Fortunately, Lu Ming was full of divine energy. He spun his spear and released a terrifying attack, colliding with the divine light. His body was knocked back 100 meters. Kill! Kill this brat! Wan Xie roared. At this moment, he no longer wanted to capture Lu Ming alive. He only wanted to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying, making him tremble with fear. 2 demon masters and 2 demon capital guard formations attacked Lu Ming continuously. Divine power Dharmalaksana, ice chains, 9 layers of crimson golden armor, apocalyptic 3 strikes. Lu Ming's body flashed continuously as he used all of his divine skills and secret techniques to fight against the opponent. In addition to the ancient god body's tyrannical power and terrifying defense, he resisted the opponent's attack. This brat is only a level 3 heavenly god. How can he have such terrifying power? Also, what's with his divine power? Why does it seem like it can't be used up? Wan Xie, the old demon master, and many of the demon capital guards couldn't calm down and were shocked. If it were anyone else, they would have run out of divine power long ago. However, Lu Ming was able to maintain his peak state with every move, unleashing the strongest power. Dragon Cave. Ignore those demon slaves and kill this brat. Wan Xie roared. Of course, he was talking to the middle-aged demon master. All right. Dragon Cave ignored those demon slaves and led the remaining 1,000 demon capital guards to charge at Wan Xie and the rest. Let's form a large formation together, Dragon Cave said. Wan Xie, Dragon Cave, and the other 2 demon masters led around 2,500 demon capital guards and merged together, forming a larger demon capital guard formation. In this way, the power was even more shocking. Whoosh! A huge light pillar blasted towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming swept out his spear and clashed with the light pillar. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a violent force rushing towards him. His body shook violently, and he was forced to retreat. The 3 demon masters and 2,500 demon capital guards formed a large formation that was too powerful. It had completely surpassed Lu Ming. Kill! 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 Kill this bastard! On the side, Wan Xing roared in excitement. He was extremely jealous of Lu Ming's talent and wished he could kill Lu Ming. Kill. The large formation was activated again and Lu Ming was repelled again. At this moment, outside the city lord's mansion, it seems that they have started fighting. Let's make our move. Wu Shui said. Attack. Pei Lin was very direct. He turned into a ray of light and charged towards the city lord's mansion. Slash. Pei Lin shouted and slashed down. A huge ray of light that was 10,000 miles long enveloped the entire city lord's mansion. It was going to split the entire city lord's mansion into 2 halves. However, at this moment, a giant rod rushed into the sky from the city lord's mansion and slammed into the ray of light. The ray of light that was 10,000 miles long was shattered in one hit. I knew you people were up to no good. A deep voice resounded. Then, a burly figure rushed out from the city lord's mansion and stood in midair. It was an ape-man that was 5 meters tall. His body was covered in black fur, and he held a black iron rod in his hand. His body emitted a terrifying aura. It was the aura of a half-step divine king. "You are one of the 9 great demon masters," Pei Lin said coldly. "That's right," the ape-man said. "Great. I can complete my mission after killing you." Pei Lin's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He activated his divine force and took a step forward, charging towards the ape-man. The terrifying ray of light seemed to be able to split the heavens and earth. A genius that can control divine-grade divine force. "I would like to see how strong you are." The ape-man waved his iron rod and charged towards Pei Lin. The two of them exchanged blows continuously, but there was no clear winner. However, Pei Lin seemed to be at a disadvantage. A half-step divine king's strength was shocking. Although Pei Lin was a divine son, his cultivation was only at level 8 heavenly god, and he was at a disadvantage. However, it would not be easy for the other party to win. Kill! Kill! At this moment, Wu Shui, Su Mu, and the others rushed out and charged towards the city lord's mansion. Chapter 2967. Wu Shui, Su Mu, and the others also charged towards the city lord manor. However, powerful auras also erupted from the city lord manor. Boom! Boom! Numerous figures charged out and forced Wu Shui and the others back. Demon Lord! Wu Shui's eyes narrowed as he looked at the figures in front of him. Including the ape-man from before, there were a total of 6 figures. Their auras were extremely dense, and their divine power erupted like volcanoes. These 6 were all half-step god kings, and were the other 6 of the 9 demon lords. Including the 3 demon lords from the Beast Arena, the 9 demon lords of Demon Capital City were all present. You outsider sky prides really didn't come to Demon Capital City with good intentions, one of the demon lords said coldly. "It's too late for you to know now," Wu Shui said coldly. "Too late? Hee hee. You guys want to behave atrociously in Demon Capital City? Today, all of you shall stay behind," one of the demon lords said coldly, his voice filled with cold killing intent. As soon as he said that, numerous figures charged out from the city lord manor. They were all demon capital guards in metal armor, and there were close to 5,000 of them. Demon Capital City was said to have 8,000 demon capital guards. Apart from the Beast Arena, almost all of them were present. 6 demon masters and close to 5,000 demon capital guards gathered together. Their aura was truly horrifying. It was like the waves of the sea, wave after wave surging towards Wu Shui and the others. Wu Shui and the others could not help but retreat continuously. Obviously, the City Lord Manor of Demon Capital City was prepared. "Everyone is here." "Very good." At this moment, a cold voice suddenly rang out in the sky. Then, a sword light suddenly descended from the sky and shot towards the group of demon guards. This sword light was shockingly fast and disappeared in a flash. "Not good, retreat," one of the demon lords shouted. But it was too late. Blood splattered everywhere as the sword light flashed. At least 100 demon capital guards were killed. Their bodies were split into 2, and their souls were destroyed by the terrifying sword chi. In the next moment, a black-robed youth appeared in the sky with a sword in his hand. "This is a 9th-level heavenly god," one of the demon lords exclaimed with a solemn expression. Obviously, the black-robed youth wasn't an ordinary 9th-level heavenly god. He was a 9th-level heavenly god that controlled divine-grade divine power. Back then, during the Great Battle of Demonic City, such a person did not appear at all. "Ha ha ha, the Demon King's token is mine." At this moment, a loud laugh came from a building not far away. Then, with a flash of golden light, a burly figure appeared in the air, shrouded in golden divine light. This was also a young man whose cultivation base had reached the 9th level of the heavenly god realm. "The Demon King's token is mine." A deep voice rang out. From another direction, another young man stepped through the air and flew over. The aura emitted from this person was also that of a 9th-level heavenly god. The expressions of the 6 great demon masters became very ugly all of a sudden. Who would have thought that there would be so many terrifying geniuses who had entered Demon City? And during the great battle in Demon City, these geniuses had not appeared. This had caused them to underestimate the strength of the geniuses who had come from outside. However, Wu Shui and the others had calm expressions. Obviously, they already knew about the existence of these heaven's favorites. Clang, clang. Pei Lin and the ape-man were still fighting. However, Pei Lin was gradually losing and was at a disadvantage. Let's do it. Things might change if we delay. The young man who was shrouded in golden light said. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure turned into a ray of golden light and charged towards the city lord manor. Set up the formation. A demon master roared, ordering the demon city guards to set up the formation. However, at this moment, a pitch-black fog suddenly appeared in the sky above the city lord manor. The fog instantly enveloped the 5,000 demon city guards and the 6 great demon masters. Some of the demon city guards hugged their heads and screamed miserably. After a while, some of the demon city guards fell straight to the ground, no longer breathing. Even those with higher cultivation bases had a pained expression on their faces. This fog can harm one's soul. Leave this place. A demon master roared and charged up, wanting to leave this place. Stay here. A cold voice rang out. The black-robed young man with a long sword charged towards the demon master. The demon master roared and attacked to block. However, after a flash of sword light, the demon master retreated. A deep wound appeared on his body and blood flowed out. The demon master's eyes were filled with shock. Although he was a half-step divine king, he wasn't a match for the black-robed young man, especially when he was shrouded in the fog and his soul was damaged. Kill. The black-robed young man roared and attacked continuously. He didn't seem to be afraid of the fog. Senior brother is attacking. Kill, kill. Wu Shui's eyes flashed with joy as he charged over. At the same time, the other young men also attacked the demon city guards. These young men were clearly prepared. They weren't afraid of the fog and were able to maintain their peak strength. On the other hand, the demon city guard's soul was damaged by the fog and their strength was greatly reduced. They weren't a match for the black-robed young man. As soon as the two sides clashed, a large number of demon city guards were killed. In less than a minute, more than 1,000 demon city guards had fallen. A furious roar came from the ape-man demon master. At this moment, a young man with blood bubbles appeared behind the ape-man demon master. The young man's claw pierced through the ape-man demon master's heart and squeezed. A terrifying power exploded from the ape-man demon master's body. The ape-man demon lord let out a blood-curdling scream and was killed on the spot. Senior brother. Wu Shui and the woman with the snake wrapped around her arm were overjoyed when they saw the young man. This young man was also a 9th-level heavenly god. The fog just now was released by him. Kill. The young man charged toward another demon master. Pooh. Not long after, another demon master was killed. He died at the hands of the young man who was covered in golden light. Of the 6 demon masters, only 4 were left. At this moment, the fog filled the air. The demon city guards were completely at a disadvantage. Every moment, someone was being killed. Quick, send a message to the demon king. Call the demon king out. Several demon masters roared and sent messages to the demon king of darkness. With their strength, they could no longer stop the foreign prodigies. If this continued, they would all die. However, after they sent messages, there was no response. The demon king of darkness didn't appear. What's going on? Damn it! Several demon masters roared. I'll send you all on your way. The young man sneered. Now, there were only 4 demon masters left. As for the foreign prodigies, there were 4 9th-level heavenly gods, 1 for each of them. These demon masters weren't as strong as the 9th-level heavenly gods to begin with. In addition, they were affected by the fog and were weaker. They weren't a match at all. Even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. Let's die together. The remaining 4 demon masters went all out. They burned their divine power and fought fiercely with the 4 prodigies. Chapter 2968. Over at the City Lord Mansion, the battle was intense. The foreign prodigies had the upper hand. Over at the Beast Arena, Lu Ming was completely at a disadvantage. The 3 demon masters and 2,500 demon guards set up a large array, releasing beams of divine light that blasted toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming protected Autumn Moon and the other two as he retreated. At this moment, the green scales on his body were cracked and blood flowed out. Young master. Autumn Moon's eyes were filled with tears. She gritted her teeth and attacked, wanting to share some of the pressure with Lu Ming. However, although Autumn Moon's current cultivation had reached the 2nd level of the celestial god realm, she did not cultivate too many other divine powers. Her combat strength was far from Lu Ming's and could not play a key role. Instead, she was injured by the rebound force. Autumn Moon, don't attack, Lu Ming shouted. Young master. Autumn Moon's eyes were filled with tears. Haha, kid, go to hell. Wan Xing stood in the distance and laughed. His gaze swept across Autumn Moon and Yuling Long, flickering with burning flames. I didn't expect you to have 2 such beautiful girls by your side. Why didn't I notice it before? What a pity. But it doesn't matter. After I kill you, I will love them dearly. Ha ha ha. Wan Xing laughed wildly, his face full of malevolence and desire. Wan Xing, I will kill you. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Kill me? You're still dreaming. Wan Xing mocked arrogantly. He was not afraid at all. At this moment, divine light shot into the sky from the City Lord Mansion, and there was a terrifying vibration. They could see it clearly from their side. Not good. There's a big battle at the City Lord Mansion. The demon lords' faces changed drastically. Damn it. It's those foreign prodigies. These guys are definitely in cahoots to disperse our strength. Dragon Cave shouted angrily. Lu Ming also noticed the situation at the City Lord Mansion and was surprised. He didn't expect that those foreign prodigies would attack the City Lord Mansion. It seems that those prodigies from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion didn't come to Demon City just for Imo Yechuan. Lu Ming thought, go all out and kill this kid. Let's go support the City Lord Mansion. At this moment, Wan Xing roared, okay, go all out and kill him. Go all out. The other 2 demon lords also nodded and gave the order. Immediately, the 3 demon lords and 2,500 demon capital guards circulated their god power like crazy and blasted it out like it was free. Afterward, a huge light pillar slashed toward Lu Ming like a huge divine sword. The power of the sword god's sword had reached its peak. Lu Ming's pupils constricted sharply. He sensed a fatal crisis. However, he, Qiuyu, and the others were enveloped by the array and had nowhere to run. They could only fight head-on. Block it, I must block it. Lu Ming bellowed in his heart and unleashed his full strength. Roar. With a dragon roar, the 7 9-clawed divine dragon Dharma appearances rushed out first. Following closely behind were 9 ice chains. Rumble. The huge divine light formed a sword and slashed down violently. The 7 9-clawed dragon avatars exploded one by one. Then, the 9 ice shackles also exploded. But this way, it more or less blocked some of the power of the sword. In the end, Lu Ming waved his long spear and blocked in front of him. Boom. The sword slashed on the long spear. Lu Ming's body shook violently and couldn't stand in the air. His body, which was hundreds of meters high, fell down to the battle stage below. The battle stage of the beast fighting arena was made of special materials and was extremely hard. The overflowing energy of the previous battle didn't break the battle stage. However, this time, Lu Ming landed heavily on the fighting ring. There was a violent roar and cracks appeared on the fighting ring surface. Lu Ming bent his body and almost knelt down. Block it, Lu Ming roared. He used all of his divine power and the strength of his divine body to resist and not kneel down. However, the huge sword continued to attack. Lu Ming's body trembled as if he was carrying a majestic divine mountain. This kid, Wan Yi and the others' hearts twitched as they sucked in cold air. They had already used their strongest move. They wanted to kill Lu Ming with one move, but they didn't expect that Lu Ming would be able to resist it. Continue. Kill him. Wan Yi roared. Then, the 3 demon lords and more than 2,500 demon capital guards crazily circulated their divine power. The divine power gathered and surged towards the battle sword, pressing down on Lu Ming. Boom! The battle stage under Lu Ming's feet exploded and debris flew everywhere. Lu Ming's body bent slightly, but Lu Ming roared and resisted it. More blood flowed out from the wounds on his body. Young Master, Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, Yu Linglong, and Wu Zifeng were extremely anxious. They wanted to intervene, but with their cultivation, they couldn't help much. This can't go on. If this goes on, I won't be able to resist it sooner or later. Lu Ming's mind raced. If this went on, the four of them would die here if he couldn't resist it. The consequences would be worse than death. Now, the only way is to break through, Lu Ming thought. There were only two ways now. One was to ignite the ancient god heart, and the other was to break through. However, after igniting the ancient god heart, his ancient god body would be completely crippled. Last time, it was because of the purple copper coffin that his ancient god heart recovered. However, that kind of luck wouldn't happen every time. Moreover, Guillemot wasn't by his side this time. If he took the risk to open the purple copper coffin, he wouldn't even know how he died. Therefore, Lu Ming wouldn't use this method unless it was a last resort. The other way was to break through. For example, the battle formula could increase his combat strength by 5 times. However, the breakthrough of the battle formula required comprehension and accumulation. It wasn't something that could be broken through at will. The only way to break through was through cultivation. Old Liang, how much energy have you refined from the stellar core? Lu Ming asked Liang Ju telepathically. I've already given you the energy I refined last time. How much energy can you refine in such a short time? It's too little. It's not enough for you to break through. Liang Ju replied. Then give me the energy from the stellar core. Lu Ming said. Give you the energy from the stellar core? You're crazy. The energy from the stellar core is extremely violent. Even a divine king would have to carefully refine it before they can use it. You're just a heavenly god. If I give it to you, you'll be stuffed to death. Liang Ju said. There's no other way. I can only give it a try. Give me the energy, but don't give me too much. I can handle it. Lu Ming said to Liang Ju. His eyes were firm. Kid, you're crazy. All right, let's give it a try. I'll accompany you. Kid, I'm ready. Liang Ju agreed helplessly. Come on. Lu Ming said. Buzz. Liang Ju went crazy. A violent energy rushed into Lu Ming's body from Liang Ju. Chapter 2969. A surge of energy surged into Lu Ming's body from the measure character formula. This energy was extremely violent, many times stronger than the energy of a volcano. Scorching, incomparably scorching. The hot energy was like a tsunami, crashing into Lu Ming's body. Poof, poof. Lu Ming's body shook violently. He already had some injuries on his body, but this energy made his injuries even worse. Ah, go up. Lu Ming roared, controlling the energy to rush into the long spear through his arm. Buzz. The long spear vibrated, creating a rebounding force that raised his opponent's battle sword. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming stood up straight. This kid, how can he still unleash his energy? Wan Yi, Dragon Cave, and the others were not only shocked, but also terrified. They then circulated their divine power even more crazily. This time, they must kill Lu Ming, or Demon Capital Mountain would be destroyed. Refine, refine. At this moment, Lu Ming was circulating the Universe Myriad Dao technique to refine the energy in his body. However, the energy of the star core had not been refined by the measure character formula, so it was very difficult to absorb it. It was a world of difference compared to the refined energy. However, Lu Ming could not care less. He continued to circulate his cultivation technique to absorb the energy, using it to break through to the next level. Not only was the absorption slow, but it was also impure. Even if Lu Ming broke through to the next level, his foundation would be unstable. However, he could not care less now. If his foundation was unstable, then so be it. He would just spend more time to polish it. Rumble. Violent energy surged within Lu Ming's body, rampaging everywhere. It was extremely domineering. If it was an ordinary third-level celestial god cultivator, no, let alone a third-level celestial god, Even if it was a ninth-level celestial god, their divine body would probably explode from this energy. However, Lu Ming's divine body was not an ordinary divine body. After he had condensed the ancient god heart, his divine body was constantly being tempered, becoming stronger day by day. Moreover, he had turned into a green-armored ancient god, so the strength of his divine body was even more shocking. He was able to withstand the energy. It's not enough. Old Liang, release more energy. Lu Ming roared. More. Kid, you have to act according to your ability. The quantifying formula expressed its concern. I know. Come. Lu Ming said. Brat, get ready. As soon as the voice of the quantifying character formula fell, another burst of energy rushed out. This energy was even more berserk and scorching than before. At this moment, Lu Ming's body turned bright red. Even the green armor on his skin turned fiery red. His body swelled up like a balloon. The blood on the wound spurted out like it was free. Nest, Old Liang, you're spewing out too much energy. Are you trying to stuff me to death? Lu Ming screamed. You're the one who wanted it. I've already reminded you. The quantifying formula said. Lu Ming was helpless. He could only grit his teeth and madly circulate the universe myriad Tao art to absorb this energy. Rumble. There was a booming sound in Lu Ming's body. It was as if a volcano was erupting continuously. His cultivation level was also increasing rapidly. He reached the peak of the 3rd level of the heavenly god realm and started to break through to the 4th level. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming's body kept rumbling. Every time there was a rumble, Lu Ming's body would tremble. More blood flowed out from the wound. Lu Ming was bathed in blood, as if he would collapse at any time, but he managed to withstand the attack. This kid is strange. Let's fight too. Wani yelled. For some reason, he had a bad feeling in his heart. He felt that if Lu Ming didn't die today, he would be the one to die. His eyes were filled with viciousness as the divine force in his body burned fiercely. After burning his divine force, Wan Yi's strength skyrocketed. The power of the sword formed by the formation also increased. Lu Ming's body trembled. He almost couldn't block it. You two, burn your divine force together and kill this kid. Wan Yi looked at Dragon Cave and the other demon master. However, Dragon Cave and the other demon master hesitated. Burning one's divine force was very harmful to one's body. Even if it was an ordinary person, their vitality would be greatly damaged after burning their divine force. In the worst case, their cultivation would regress. The half-step divine king realm was even more special. This realm was the realm where the star core was formed. The most important thing was that if they burned their divine force at this time, their cultivation would regress to the 9th level of the heavenly god realm. They might not even have the chance to break through to the divine king realm in the future. It wasn't easy to cultivate to this level. How could they burn their divine force so easily? This kid won't be able to hold on for long. Let's hold on and we will win, Dragon Cave said. He refused to burn his divine force. Wani was helpless. He could only burn his divine force desperately and even threatened some demon guards to burn their divine force to suppress Lu Ming. Soon. At this moment, Lu Ming had already sensed the 4th level of the heavenly god realm barrier and launched a fierce attack. Once, twice, thrice. After more than 10 attacks. Boom. There was a loud explosion in Lu Ming's body. The 4th level of the heavenly god realm barrier was finally broken by Lu Ming. Lu Ming had reached the 4th level of the heavenly god realm. After reaching the 4th level of the heavenly god realm, the 10 divine fires in his dantian were more vigorous and the divine force in his body was more turbulent. Lu Ming's strength had also increased by a lot. Break! Lu Ming roared. Violent energy rushed out from his arm. Boom! The long spear vibrated violently. In an instant, it vibrated a few 100 million times. Lu Ming knocked away the opponent's battle sword. Then, he led Xiao Yu and the others to take a step forward and avoided the opponent's attack. After the other party's battle sword was knocked away, it continued to slash down on the fighting ring, splitting it into 2 halves. Third strike of the apocalypse, star explosion. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Lu Ming executed the strongest move of the third strike of the apocalypse, Star explosion. The divine force in his body, including the energy of the star core that he had yet to refine, flowed out from Lu Ming's arms. All the energy was combined into the strongest move, star explosion. Whoosh! A shocking spear glow soared into the sky, aiming at the formation that Wan Yi and the others had set up. Kill! Wan Yi and the others yelled. They activated the formation and gathered their divine force to form a battle sword slashing at Lu Ming. Bang! The star explosion collided with the opponent's battle sword, resulting in a terrifying explosion. The force of the collision spread in all directions. The collision felt like a battle between two deities. The shockwaves that spread in all directions crushed the corpses of the experts that had died in the fighting ring into dust. The area within 100,000 li was razed to the ground. Furthermore, the demon city had set up formations everywhere. Otherwise, the destruction would be several times stronger. Explode! At this moment, Lu Ming shouted coldly. The huge spear gleam exploded. This was the correct way to use the supernova move. Chapter 2970. Boom! The spear light exploded like a planet exploding, forming a terrifying energy storm that swept toward Wan Yi and the others. Bam! The battle swords formed by Wan Yi and the others trembled violently and buzzed. Then, they exploded, forming countless energy waves that shot towards Wan Yi, Dragon Cave, and the others. Boom! 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 This energy was too strong. When it charged out, a large number of demon capital guards didn't even have time to react before their bodies exploded and their souls scattered. In an instant, at least 300 demon city guards had died under this move, and the entire great formation had been scattered. Once the formation was opened, the power of the three demon lords and the demon guards was dispersed. How could Lu Ming miss such an opportunity? Bam! He stomped on the ground and his body that was a few hundred meters tall rushed up. The divine power that he had stored in the measure word formula surged into Lu Ming's body and flowed out through his arms. Kill! Lu Ming roared and swept out his spear. The huge spear that was 10,000 miles long enveloped a large number of demon guards. Bam! Bam! One by one, the demon capital guards exploded in the air like rotten tomatoes. Blood splattered everywhere. This spear had killed at least 500 demon guards. Damn it! Damn it! Wan Yi, Dragon Cave, and the other two demon lords roared in their hearts, unable to remain calm. At this moment, other than Wan Yi, the other two demon lords regretted. If they had known that Lu Ming was so terrifying, they would have listened to Wan Yi and burned their divine power to kill Lu Ming in one fell swoop. However, it was too late to regret now. Kill! Lu Ming stared at the three demon lords and thrust his spear at the demon lord of Dragon Cave who was closest to him. The spear light was like a shooting star, instantly approaching the demon lord of Dragon Cave. Not good. The demon lord of Dragon Cave was shocked. He quickly waved his hands and used his strongest move to block. However, when Lu Ming was at the third level of the celestial god realm, his strength had already suppressed a half-step divine king demon lord. Now that he had broken through to the fourth level of the celestial god realm, his strength was even more overwhelming. Boom! The spear light pierced through the Dragon Cave demon master's attack without stopping, continuing to stab towards the Dragon Cave demon master. Puff! The body of the Dragon Cave's demon master was directly pierced by the spear light, a bloody hole appearing. Dragon Cave demon master screamed miserably, his body flying outwards, seriously injured. Die! Lu Ming did not give the Dragon Cave's demon master any chance. He took a step forward, and his spear lashed out at the Dragon Cave's demon master's head. The Dragon Cave demon master was already heavily injured, so how could he dodge? With a miserable cry, Lu Ming's head exploded, and he died on the spot. A demon master was killed just like that. In the surroundings, many of the demon capital guards were almost scared to death. They didn't have the slightest bit of will to fight. They turned around and ran, not daring to stay for even a moment. Let's go, let's go. Not to mention the demon capital guards. Even Wan Xie was incomparably terrified. He took Wan Xing and fled madly. The other demon master also fled in another direction. Don't even think about leaving. With a cold shout, a sword light shot out from the rubble below and slashed at the fleeing demon master. I didn't expect such a genius to be captured and brought to the beast battle arena. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The one who attacked was a young man with a cultivation of peak level 7, heavenly god realm. However, his combat strength was extremely shocking, as he was able to hold back the demon master. Such strength was not weaker than Pei Lin. Obviously, for some unknown reason, this young man was also captured and brought to the beast battle arena. The demon capital mountain was really daring to do anything. They even dared to capture such a genius. Was it because of the mountain behind them? Lu Ming's mind raced as he chased after Wan Xie at an extremely fast speed. He must kill Wan Xie and Wan Xing, damn it. Wan Xie was shocked. He frantically burned his divine power and flew forward. However, Lu Ming executed the 9 heavens Kuanping technique, as if he had turned into a Kuanping. His speed was faster than Wan Xie's, and the distance between the two was rapidly shortened. Whoosh! When the distance was shortened to a certain extent, Lu Ming thrust out his spear, and a spear light burst out, rushing rapidly towards Wan Xie. Wan Xie had no choice but to stop and turn around to block the attack. Wan Xie's combat strength was higher than usual as he was burning his divine power. He managed to block Lu Ming's attack, but his body was pushed back. His face was pale, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. Your divine power should be almost depleted soon, right? Lu Ming stepped forward, looking down at Wan Xie and Wan Xing from above. Under Lu Ming's body that was a few hundred meters tall, Wan Yi and Wan Xing were like 2 ants. Father, what should we do? What should we do? Wan Xing was scared to death. His body was trembling, and his face was extremely pale. He was used to acting like a tyrant in the beast battle arena, and even demon capital city. With Wan Xie's name, not many people dared to go against him. He had always been high and mighty. When had he ever faced such a situation? He was completely flustered, and he was out of his wits. Lu Ming, there's something that you probably don't know. My demon capital mountain has a backer in 9 extinction, heavenly king mansion. He's a real big shot. If you kill us, the big shot from 9 extinction, heavenly king mansion won't let you go. Wan Xie said coldly. The backer of demon capital mountain? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. As long as he knew who the backer of demon capital mountain was, he might be able to find out who was the traitor of 9 extinction, heavenly king mansion. Speak. Who's the backer of demon capital mountain? Or which force is it? Lu Ming asked coldly. You want to know who's behind us? You just need to know that we have a backer behind us, a backer that you can't afford to offend. Otherwise, with a treasure like the Devil Night Spring, how could the Devil Capital Mountain have survived until now? Wan Xie sneered and threatened Lu Ming. Not going to say it? Then I'll search for it myself. Lu Ming wasn't afraid of threats. As soon as he finished speaking, he waved his spear and swept it towards Wan Xie. Wan Xie was shocked. He didn't expect that Lu Ming wouldn't be threatened at all, and could only resist with all his might. However, he had been burning his divine force for a long time and had consumed a lot of it. He didn't even exchange a few blows with Lu Ming before his divine force was completely burned out. Bang! Lu Ming's spear landed on Wan Xie's body. The lower half of Wan Xie's body exploded, leaving only the upper half of his body floating in the air. His aura was weak. Then, Lu Ming reached out and grabbed at the void. A suction force appeared and caught Wan Xing in his hand. Wan Xing was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered in Lu Ming's hand. He didn't have the slightest strength to resist and could only scream miserably. No, don't kill me. Father, save me, I don't want to die. Wan Xing was crying in snot. He was so scared that he even wet his pants. When he killed others, he didn't even blink. He was even excited. When it was his turn, he was more afraid than anyone else. Don't kill him. Wan Xie roared. Speak. Tell me who's the backer of Demon Capital Mountain, and I can consider letting him go. Lu Ming said. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.